What's up, Stans? This is John here, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I kind of came across this video a little bit ago, and it's kind of relevant to something that happened. Well, not happened, but I have posted a video of a debut group, and I liked the song. I liked it a lot and everything, and the artist page commented on the video, you know, with a thank you. And every time I see an artist page kind of pop up, you know, on the comments, I kind of vet it, kind of click around to see if it has any kind of legitimacy at all, to see if it's just someone just pretending to be that person or whatever. So when I clicked on the pages and the links and everything, I kind of fell into a story of that particular group getting into some trouble for some racially insensitive comments that they made on a video earlier, and the video seemed to resurface when they did their debut, and they were forced to do an apology and everything about, you know, being so insensitive in that video. So for whatever reason, I don't know why, but this video kind of showed up in my feed, and I was getting ready to watch it, and I think I watched the first couple of minutes of it, first couple 30 seconds of it, and then it just kind of popped in my head and said, you know what, maybe I should kind of react to this video. So basically this video is a K-pop trainees learn about cultural appropriation, discrimination, and hairstyles. So I'm kind of interested about, you know, what do they teach K-pop trainees? So we're going to get into it, we're going to react to it, and then I'm just going to give you my honest opinions on what I see. Me as a African American who, you know, is in the K-pop, which a lot of us are, and a lot of the K-pop music is influenced by R&B and hip hop and things like that, that are primarily music styles that originated in African American culture. So we're gonna get into this. I'm gonna see how this actually goes. So.
네, 오늘 수업을 시작해볼까요? 저는 1일 선생님을 맡은 6월 지아입니다. 오늘 저희는 Culture Appropriation에 대해 배워볼 거예요. 자, 여러분 컬처 뜻 아시는 분? 저요? 뭐예요? 문화적. 맞아요. 그럼 이거 뜻 아시는 분?
Just gonna turn this down a little bit so you can hear me make comments.
문화적 도용이라고 합니다. 이게 이제 저희 마리미 분들이 저희에게 디스코드로 이런 거 배웠으면 좋겠다라고 추천을 해주셔서 저희가 예롱스 작가님의 웹툰을 허락을 받고 사용을 해서 쓰고 있습니다. 이것이 바로 예롱스 작가님의 웹툰인데요. 자, 여러분 이걸 보면 무슨 생각이 드시죠? 이런 머리 보신 적 있으신가요? 네. 이게 그 전에 제가 사진을 한번 보여드릴게요. 이 머리가 폴로 가발이에요. 이 머리를 쓴 것에 차별이 있었어요. 왜 차별이 있었죠?
Well, obviously, you know, people of the Caucasian persuasion that wear cornrows, I don't necessarily have an issue with it. You know, the only thing I have an issue with is when African Americans wear cornrows or can't wear cornrows because of jobs, or you know, there's actual rules put in place in schools that prohibit that kind of hairstyle. So, you know, I have seen that before. I have not experienced it myself because I don't, you know, roll these things into cornrows. I don't think I could have the patience for someone to sit there and do that to me. So I guess they're trying to, you know, prove a point, you know, with that particular incident that some models are wearing cornrows, and they kind of got backlash for it. So. this person from the black culture. I will say that whoever did this cartoon, I'm actually really appreciative that they didn't paint the people who were supposed to be African American, like colored them in. They kind of made them look the same like everybody else. So that's a small thing that you see that I'm actually glad that they didn't do, because ultimately we're all human beings. We may have differences and things like that, but color shouldn't be that big of a difference.
도대체 왜일까요? 이게 사실 한국인들의 문화가 요즘 같은 시대에 무슨 상관이냐, 스타일뿐이라고 말하는 사람들이 많아요. 근데 이 머리가 지금 한국에서 힙합 스타일, 레게 머리,
Reggae hair, I don't know about that.
에스닉 머리가 되잖아요.
Ethnic hair, I don't know about that. Now that's true. They did force African Americans, especially the ones that were taken over as slaves, to cut, the hairstyle of, the tribe or the whatever place they stole the people from. They didn't allow them to continue that particular hairstyle when they were brought over as slaves. They were, forced to either shave their heads, or they weren't allowed to do the particular hairstyle from the tribe that they were from. But that's kind of bringing it. That's how she's going into history, I believe, because we don't do that now. We don't walk around and say, "Oh, you're from this tribe because you got cornrows," or "You're from this tribe because you got an afro." It is a form of an identity and a way for us to express, our individuality. So that's something. I'm glad that they brought that up. Good answer, everybody. Definitely no, unless you understand, what you're doing, or you have an appreciation for what, you are, appropriating. There's nothing wrong with admiring something or even trying to copy it, but understanding it and giving it the respect is something that it just comes across. You could tell if somebody's being disingenuous when they're doing it, or they don't know anything about it. It's just like the youth today using the N-word. My view on that is that I really don't believe that anybody other than African American should use that word. I don't use that word, but I choose not to use that word because I believe it's a word that is just negative. I know that a lot of African Americans have adopted it as a way of taking the power away from it, and I agree with that 100%. But if you don't have skin in that game, you shouldn't be using it. Meaning that a person who is not African American uses that word like in in the slang and in whatever, but they really don't suffer the consequences of the use of that word. Meaning as they can't be hurt by it, so they can't appropriate it. An African American can appropriate it and use the word to try to take away its power, but they still got to deal with the negative effects of it regardless, whether or not they try to take the power away from it, or they just choose not to use it at all like I do. They have skin in the game, And if you don't have skin in the game, that's very, 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 very trepidatious uh, areas to be going into, because you never know who's around, and you say it and you think it's cool, and you say it around the wrong person, and you can either offend them or get yourself an ass whooping. I did not know that. I wonder how true that is. I did not know that. Now that's true. Yes, African American women, whenever they try to use different types of hairstyles, most of their hairstyles that they could use, other than straightening it, they are seen as unprofessional, and it's just not fair. And that's just a sad thing. Her saying that slavery ended 160 years ago, but there's only 3 states that actually have laws that go against discriminating some against uh, racial ethnicity. What she say? I don't get that. 150 60 years ago was America. Only 3 states have passed laws banning discrimination based on hairstyles or textures commonly associated with race and nationality, which is true. That's kind of a sad thing that, you know, they're in South Korea and they're talking about, our, our laws here in America, and it's kind of sad and depressing, for, us to have this legacy of slavery, and we like to think that we've gone past all of that, but yet we still have so far to go, and we could do better. Let's just put it that way. We could do much better. Uh-oh. And I think that's very interesting. She kind of relates it to, Korean history, and how, their culture was threatened, and they asked, that, their culture not be appropriated and, used for aesthetic, value, and things like that. So it's a universal thought. It's a universal struggle that meant people from many different ethnicities and races and cultures go through. So it's very, very interesting to see it from this side of the spectrum.
이것은 단순한 내 스타일이 아닙니다. 꼭 명심하세요. 만약 우리들에게 아름다운 문화와 전통을 공통하는 역사가 없었다면, 만약 그 스타일에 대한 저와 의식을 보여주는 과정에서 시작된 게 아니라면, 이 너희가 하나의 모임이다 기분이 나쁘지만은 않았을 수 있어요. 그렇지만 그 과정을 모두 무시하고 새로운 흐름을 자리 잡는 것은 이 역사와
And I'd have to agree with that. Is the fact that you got to understand it. Some people are upset and angry that we don't want Aunt Jemima syrup or we don't want Uncle Ben's on rice anymore. It's not that we want to like erase that history. It needs to have a context. It's got to have a place. It really doesn't belong on our rice boxes anymore. It doesn't belong on our syrup bottles anymore. But it's just because you get rid of it doesn't mean it just goes away and you erase it. It's always going to be there. But we need to put the right context on it. At one time, this was appropriate. Now, times have changed. People have grown. The world is growing. The people are learning more about each other. Now is not the time to do those sorts of things. There's things that people used to do in the past in history, torturing people and hanging people and things like that. That kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore like it did in the Middle Ages because we've kind of grown as a world to see that that's probably not the best thing for us to do. It's a little savage. So we've grown. Does that mean that all the hangings, burnings, and all the things that happened in history, the Crusades, and all of that other kind of stuff is just erased? No. It just means that it has a context. We can go to history books and museums and things like that to learn about stuff like that and how they used to do things. And it's the same thing now. The world doesn't just get to a certain point and stop and say, okay, no more evolvement. We are constantly evolving as our world gets smaller. As I'm sitting here as an African American watching South Koreans learn about cultural appropriation of my culture. You would never even thought about seeing that 20 years ago. Unless I were to go to South Korea and sit in that classroom there with them. Our world is getting smaller. We're getting more connected. Now, it's okay to use slang. It's fine. Saying what's up, all that other kind of stuff is fine. If that's what you want to do, and if that's how you want to talk, and that's whatever, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. As long as you don't do it really corny, I'll laugh at you. But it's just that if you're trying to be fake or pander to me by using those phrases and things like that, it just becomes comical, maybe lightly offensive, but not like storm the castle offensive, but just lightly offensive. But it's fine. Use it. Say what's up, brother. I don't mind as long as we're cool like that, and you are not pandering or patronizing me by using that sort of talk. That's fine. But I can tell if you are, if you're not, and if you're close to people, or you hang around with people, or you converse, or you engage with people that you can tell whether or not they can do that or whether they can't do that with you. I think that's a good thought. Just go into it with some thought. Think about stuff before you do it. You know, think of why you're doing it, how you're doing it, if you're giving respect to it, or if you're disrespecting it. Well, that was very interesting to see them kind of cover those subjects with the trainees and everything. With K-pop becoming more and more international, this is something that they're going to have to address. And from what I've seen, as far as with first getting into K-pop reactions and starting this channel, more and more and more African Americans like K-pop. They like the music. So it's going to be very important that they understand more of their audience, because K-pop is liked because it's got that poppy feel, but they also incorporate a lot of what African Americans have grown up with the hip hop or the rap style, with dance especially, centered around dance. It's catered to really, not catered is the wrong word because it seems like fabricated and made up. It's naturally aspiring to appeal to an African American audience, and you could just tell by looking at some of the reactors on there. A good majority of them are African American. A good majority of K-pop fans that are emerging are African Americans, because we listen to the music and we see the dancing, we see the musicality, we see the hip hop influence and the rap influence, and that draws us in. But it gives us a little something different, because if I want to listen to hip hop, I'll go listen to hip hop. When I go listen to rap, I can go listen to rap. That's what I get. But when I listen to K-pop, I get a little bit of everything, and a little bit of a different taste on it, some pop added to it. And that's what I think appeals to a lot of us, is that we respect the hard work that the idols put in to their craft, to learning, singing, dancing, rapping. All of that stuff is respected, and it's important for idols to learn about that. For the group that commented on my page and everything, I hope they're learning from their mistakes and everything. I'm not mad at them. I like their music before and after I learned what happened. I think they did the right thing by issuing an apology. So I really appreciate the links that they went. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this class? And not the brown-eyed girl that's being queued up, but what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about what I thought? Share down in the comments, and I think this is an interesting conversation. If I ever come across any interesting videos like this, I'll definitely do a video on it. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that.